Uganda. If you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe, like and share the video. So today I want us to look at the CADCHF, that's at the Canadian dollar Swiss franc currency pair, to see where it is right now and where we anticipate it to get to in the next coming few hours and possibly a few days. We're going to do a top-down analysis, looking at it from the higher time frame perspective down to the lower time frames. Now this is a monthly time frame. If you look at it generally, it is currently downtrending. Price has been making a series of high. This is a high, this is a low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low, this is a lower high, a lower low, a new lower high, new lower low, new lower high, and new lower low, and now it's just completed forming a new lower high, and so we are likely in the leg to create a new lower low. Now when price is making lower highs and lower lows, it is technically in a downtrend. Also, some other thing to note here, see that right here there was a level of rejection right here and here, then here again price was able to break through it to the downside, came back to retest it, it was held to the downside, tested it again, it was held again, and right here it tested it and it was held again. Now every time we see it being tested from the downside and we see it being rejected, price makes a strong move to the downside. Right here we see price, after being rejected at this area here, it made a strong move to the downside, breaking below this support area here, and it closed below this to create a new lower low. Now the same thing right here, once it tested it again, it was able to be rejected and it came dropping. It was able as well to break below this support area to create a new lower low. And now the fact that it's been rejected again, we can probably believe, it's about probabilities, but from what we are seeing, we can technically deduce that we will potentially see price also come to retest these lows or even create a new lower low. But that's yet in the future. You cannot know what will happen. The best you can do is to analyze, forecast, and then anticipate what price will do and take the necessary course of action depending on what setups the market gives to you. And now for me to mark out this area, for it to be very clear to you, this is the area that I'm talking about, and you can see it's acted as a strong area of resistance, holding price to the lower side of it. Now that's the monthly time frame. I want us to drop to the weekly time frame to see what perspective it gives us, but from the monthly perspective it is bearish. This is the weekly time frame. I want us to break it down a bit. Now when you look at this, we see, when we draw this downward trend line, we see that price has been rejected every time it reached this area of resistance. It bounced off to the downside. We see this was a low formed right here, but when it was rejected at this area, it came and broke below this low here to create a new lower low. When it came back to this area, it was able to break below the previous low to create a new lower low here. Now this time it has tested it again here, and probabilistically we could say that we will likely see another lower low, lower than the previous low that was formed before price touched this area of resistance. So we can see that price has been making a series of lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows. It's a lower high, a new lower low, it's a lower high, and we could say from what we are seeing from the charts that we could anticipate another lower low in the next coming weeks. This is not trying to predict price, this is just analyzing, but remember, we are not so much focused on what will happen weeks ahead. We are only focused on what will happen this particular week, because we intend to take the trades within the lower time frames, and so but we look at the general big picture from the higher time frames to inform our decisions that we want to take in the lower time frames. Now we see that price had formed a low right here, and we see that price with this bearish candle, was able to break below it and close below. And so the fact that it has broken below this support area, we could see this price continue flowing to the downside. We feel this week here and this week here, and potentially come to retest this support here on the downside. And the other thing we could see as well is that price with this impulse correction and next impulsive move to the downside, it is forming a low, a high that is lower than the previous high, making this a lower high. Now the fact that it has broken below this support area here, it is technically a lower low, much as it hasn't broken below this week here. Now the fact that it has formed a high, a lower high and lower low, the market is technically in the downtrend. And so the weekly perspective as well, just like we've seen the monthly time frame, they are both bearish. So we'll drop to the daily time frame to see what perspective we get from the daily time frame. So this is the daily time frame. What we are seeing right here is that price moved impulsively to the downside, breaking through this support area. When support is broken, it becomes resistance. And we see that after getting to these lows here, price started retracing to the upside but wasn't able to reach this resistance area. It was rejected around this area here, and it closed as a bearish candle in the shape of a pin, which we know technically as a pin bar as far as candlestick formations are concerned. Now you also see that this candle here opened and closed within the range of this bullish candle, making it technically a pin bar. That means that price was contained within the range of the previous bullish candle. It tried breaking above it, but it was held within its range, indicating to us that there's seemingly no volume to carry price to the upside, which had it end up closed in the form of a bearish pin bar. And we are seeing with this new candle, price tried breaking back above, but it failed, and it's now dropping to the downside. So what is the next course of action that we should be taking? Now, if you want that trade to the higher time frames, when I look at this candle here, at the break of its low, you could look to take a trade with a stop loss at the high of the pin, and you will take profit at least twice as much as you have risked. But once price comes to this area here of support, then you will look to manage this trade. One of the ways to manage the trade is probably you could close out part of the position, move your stop loss to break even, and then the rest run to the full TP. Alternatively, you could drop to the lower time frames, maybe the 4 hour for swing trades, the 1 hour for day trades, and the 30 minutes and 15 minutes time frames for quick scalps. As you're looking at price moving from where it is, the moment it breaks the low of this pin bar, and you look to capitalize on it to make some money as price drops to the downside into this support area and potentially way below it. So that's our analysis for this CADCHF or the Canadian dollar Swiss franc currency pair. I hope you're able to find opportunities within this day or the week to take trades to the downside and hopefully make some money out of the markets. Thank you for watching. I'll come again to you with more educational content. But if you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe, like and share this video